Welcome back in, guys, to another episode of the Advisor Odyssey podcast. Today's episode, we're talking about why you should talk about taxes, right? We got a great episode coming your way, guys. Enjoy, and I promise you, we're not going to get too analytical, too in the numbers with this.
This is the Advisor Odyssey audio experience, where financial advisors, planners, insurance agents, and brokers will find fresh new ideas and perspectives around what it takes to launch, succeed, scale, and bulletproof their business.
All right, let's talk about taxes. Taxes affect every single American citizen. So it is impossible to dodge them, right? Now, it's this reality, which is why taxes themselves need to be discussed in all of your appointments and then also in your marketing even. It's very, very possible for people to either A, minimize the taxes that they pay, or to maximize what they're owed in return. Now, the universal impact, like that universal impact of taxes mattering to everybody, now that universal impact of why taxes matter to everybody is why every single financial advisor should be talking about taxes in some capacity. Now, you don't need to be a CPA to discuss, the value in investing in a Roth IRA versus a traditional IRA, or to explain like what the different tax brackets are, or the differences between taxable and tax-free growth and investment vehicles. Now, you don't need to be CPA for that. And now, many advisors, they'll still talk about that, and so this isn't for you. What is for you is why you should be using it in your marketing more so than anything. If you talk about it, market it. If you're not talking about it, talk about it and market it. Now let's dig into why you should be talking about it more and why you should be using it in your marketing. Starting with the sales process, and then as in the talking about it side of the house. One unfortunate reality that every single financial advisor is facing is that in the coming years, and this could be 2-3 years out, could be 5, 10, 15, who knows. But the reality is that investing apps, apps like Robinhood, Fidelity, like these apps, they're getting better and better, and they're becoming more and more advanced in what they can actually do and what they can help with. Now, and by the way, they also usually, if they charge a fee, it's very low, and some don't even charge a fee. So that's attractive to many, especially in the DIY investor movement. So the best way that you can hedge yourself against these apps long-term is to talk more about taxes, to get more comfortable with the tax planning side of financial planning. So keep in mind, there's outliers every once in a while, but the average person is not going to be like savvy enough or well-educated enough in the world of tax planning to do their financial planning and tax planning efficiently, cohesively, and probably correctly. So this is your wedge. And it's not going to change, by the way. That will always be your largest wedge in the DIY investing world, because they can lower their fees to make them, like I said, non-existent. You shouldn't be working for free. If you don't manage assets and you're just strictly like commission based, if you, at some point they're going to be able to go to an app to just get to buy, call it an annuity or buy a life insurance policy, and there's no commission made for the advisor or the salesperson in that moment. Like, this is the future that we're very, very real, that we're eyeing down and staring down. So when you wedge yourself with the whole tax conversation, you're going to continually build credibility. Think of like CPAs. CPAs and accountants are, ultimately they're a great example of why it's so valuable to maintain relationships and why it's so valuable to have the customer service piece, to have the client experience piece. Like, I do my taxes on H&R Block. It's not fully free, but I can go through it all, and I pay, it's like $140 or something. Like, that's pretty cheap compared to what a lot of CPAs will charge. So you have to level with prospects and clients in conversations with CPAs do of, is the value that I provide or my firm provides worth it? And while, you might say, yes, obviously it is. And while many would say, yeah, the more money you make, you should always use a CPA. You should never do it on your own. I get all that. But the world is changing, and that philosophy might not stick long term. That might change too. So when you talk about taxes, you'll also tend to find easy transitions towards like supplemental investments. That's another big reason why you need to be talking about taxes. And by the way, if you do have a focus on life insurance, especially if that's like not so much on the term life side, but on the more permanent life insurance side, this is especially true for you. The discussions and conversations of converting an IRA to an IUL or like a Roth conversion kind of scenario, these typically come up and they're discussed more and more when advisors talk more about tax mitigation and tax strategies, and it doesn't usually come up in just a general conversation. So having those conversations around taxes creates opportunities and opens doors for other investment vehicles and other investment services, or perhaps other opportunities to refer specific business out if you don't use it or don't work with it. Now, when you, here's a word of advice too. When you can explain advanced tax scenarios in simple terms for your clients to fully understand, you will create separation between you and other advisors they've worked with, are currently working with, or have spoken to before. Einstein once said that if you can't explain something in a minute or less, you shouldn't talk about it at all. I think that's the quote. But ultimately, when your clients ask you, this is an example here. When your clients ask you what time it is, they want to know what time it is. They don't want to learn how to use a clock or how to read a clock or how the clock works. Now, even though that's true, it is still valuable for them. They would love to know that you know all of that. And so they feel more comfortable with asking you the time. It's this reality that even though they're not asking for you to educate them on specific topics, they find value in you knowing more and more about those specific topics and you choosing not to get in the weeds of it with them. It's true across the board. You can ask an architect how they build the blueprints, you can ask them how they get in the weeds of it, but ultimately they'll just tell you that it's their job to make sure buildings don't fall. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And that's the purpose. And so if you can explain advanced tax scenarios, and these are things like, could be, donor advised funds, charitable remainder trusts, like the Roth conversions piece. When you can explain those more advanced concepts, and that's advanced to the average person, I'll clarify that. When you can explain those in really simple and easy to understand terms, you're going to continually create separation in your prospects' minds, in your clients' minds, between you and most other advisors, because they're just not talking about that typically. And even on the opposite side of the house, CPAs, which CPAs, by the way, are your largest threat to client retention, because CPAs are specialists and most advisors refer clients out to CPAs. Some have legal agreements on file to where they can't, solicit clients, but many don't. Most don't. It's just a handshake agreement. So CPAs are one of your largest threats to client retention. And so when you start refusing to have conversation around taxes and you refer that out to the CPAs to have, that's a risk. That's a risk to your business. It's a risk to your client relationships. So get to know these advanced tax scenarios, build them into the plans, and then you can either, I guess you could theoretically hire a CPA on staff, or maybe you are a CPA, you can do it yourself. You can work with another CPA and a local CPA, for example. Then you build a legal agreement with them to where they can't solicit your clients for certain investments, and you can do all of that. And I'd recommend you do all of that. But the worst thing you can do is just not talk about it, because you feel like that's just not your lane or your expertise to talk about. That's the worst thing you can do. What's up, guys? If you're enjoying all this great content, be sure to check out our other content platforms for more and different types of content all around ways that you can become a better advisor. Things like marketing, sales process development, client experience. Maybe it's managing your team and your advisors better. Whatever it is, be sure to check out our social media profiles. You can find us at Advisor Odyssey across most every single platform that you're likely using. If you're looking for some more in-depth written out articles and blog posts, you can find that both on Medium by searching again at Advisor Odyssey, and then also on LinkedIn on my personal page, Daniel Hodajak. It's on these social media platforms where you can send in your questions, your feedback, your thoughts, and then I will then take that, formulate it, and I will try to create, maybe it's an entire podcast episode, another post that's specifically designed to help you answer the question that you are sending in. And again, that can be a direct message, it can be an email. Whatever it is, feel free, ask the question. I'll give you my best insight, and then hopefully it can make a huge difference in your business. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the episode. On the other side of the house, you have marketing. When we talk about marketing taxes, okay, marketing taxes and tax planning. Couple bullet points here for you. And this is a much bigger conversation from an overall marketing lens, but we're going to make it specific to taxes. Dinner seminars and educational workshops that advertise taxes or some type of tax planning, tax management, etc., in their marketing are consistently yielding better results nationwide. That's not going to change. It's likely not going to change anytime soon. Okay, so again, at the time of recording this, we are in January of 2023. If, like, at least through all of 2023, this is going to be very relevant, if not through 2024 and probably 2025. It's just not going to change because, again, it is a universal topic that affects everybody. So, if you're doing dinner seminars, you're doing educational workshops, or even webinars for that matter, whether it's your mailings, whether it's digital marketing ads, maybe it's organic social media posts, maybe it's just like literally just sending postcards, like you make them yourself, you send them out, you talk about it, whatever it is, the more you advertise tax planning, tax conversations in those marketing attempts, the greater your results will be. And usually, those results will also tend to be more higher net worth clients or higher net worth prospects. Higher net worth clients are, again, there's outliers every once in a while, but they're typically more focused on tax mitigation, tax planning, like tax minimization, as opposed to things like maximizing Social Security or, paying for healthcare. Like, not that it's not a concern to them, but they're going to be more focused on what's the greater impact to them. When I started the podcast, I mentioned there's usually ways that you can save and like minimize the taxes you owe, and there's ways that you can maximize the taxes that you're like owed back. Those are two very different camps of people. Like, you're not going to have a blend. You're either one or the other. It's the same. For like the marketing side of it, you're either really focused on paying less on taxes, or you're more focused on earning more, as in earning more back from your paying. So, again, higher net worth clients are usually more focused on the tax minimization side of it. Now, when it comes to digital marketing, this is a study, again, multiple digital marketing companies kind of came together to put this study together. Due to some compliance, I can't say the companies on the podcast, but tax-related digital downloads and lead magnets, okay, so lead funnels, lead flows, etc., they tend to both create more opportunities and they tend to yield better ROI, so like the better returns per client gathered when the message or the material is based around taxes, like again, tax planning, tax investments, whatever it is, that's generating better results all in all. And so whether you're focused on list building or you just want to build your clientele, your prospect database, like if you want to find a list to market to, this is the easiest way to find new names. If you're really looking to maximize your current database you have and just start to nurture those warmer leads, go the tax route. I'm telling you, this is the best way to do it, or one of the best ways to do it. If you're not sure what to do it, like you can totally do it yourself. Hop on websites like Canva or just go on to like Microsoft PowerPoint and build like a simple document. And that can be your digital content piece. I would recommend Canva over PowerPoint. But these are things like figure out what the annual tax brackets are. Figure out what 2023's tax brackets are or 2024's. Just put it together, slap your logo on it, your brand, your colors, etc., and then put your contact information at the bottom or on the back side of the page. And let that be a digital lead magnet. Let people go to your website or go to your social media pages and download it. It's super simple. Then you've got things like tax-friendly investment vehicles. Everyone has some interest in that. Like the conversation of Roth IRAs versus traditional IRAs has been going on for years, and that's not going to change. Talk about, like what are exactly Roth IRAs and why they're different. Now, I guess on that note too, obviously don't recommend it. Don't say something like, if you are A, B, or C, then you should consider getting a Roth IRA. Just, again, it's just general education. And then things, again, like general, like what are blank? Like what are, QCDs? What are donor advised funds? What are CRTs, charitable remainder trusts? What are like Roth IRA? Like what are these things? That's, again, good general education, just provide. And then when we get into more like the creative side of it, I see a lot of advisors having success with postings and lead funnels and lead magnets and whatnot that are similar to this kind of idea. But that's, in our example, it'd be tax landmines to avoid, or tax problems to avoid, or biggest mistakes I see with clients tax planning. Like, whatever it is, like, talk about the things that people should avoid. Again, people are way more concerned about the things they shouldn't do than the things they should do. So easy ways to generate leads, downloads, clicks, etc. is just talking about taxes more. And then another big thing with the like on the marketing side of the house, why I like taxes and like talking about them, both also I guess in appointments, is that there are so many fun client events client and referral events that you can host that are around the idea of taxes. One of the best ideas I've heard was a couple months ago I heard it, and I've shared it with you guys in a podcast and in some social media posts as well. One of the advisors that I work with is hosting a tax countdown party. And it's like, if you can think to yourself, like when you push the big button and the timer starts, that's what they're doing. And now it's going to be in his office. It's going to be on his website, like a constant ticking like timer on the top of his website banner. And it's the tax, I forget his technical term for it now, but it's like the tax countdown or the tax dilemma or whatever it is. Like, that is going, and that is such a powerful marketing tool. People are going to ask what that is, what it means. Clients are going to come to enjoy it. Like, it'll be a good time. Another great event, and why I said referral events, is advisors hosting a Meet Our CPA event. This is really more so whether you have a CPA in-house or if you outsource it. If you outsource it, you would also want to have the element on their side of Meet Our Advisor. So it'd be two types, like two clienteles coming together. But this is, again, Meet Our CPA, get to know them, get comfortable with them because they're helping you with your tax planning because you're a client of ours. So the tax message for marketing purposes, whether it's leads, prospects, digital seminars, workshops, or client marketing forward, there's so many opportunities. It's universal. Please take this advice. If you're not talking about it or marketing it, start doing that. Thanks for listening, guys.
We hope you enjoyed the Advisor Odyssey audio experience. Connect with us on your favorite social media platforms at Advisor Odyssey. You can find our full-length educational videos to watch on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out all our articles and publications on medium.com/Advisor Odyssey. The Advisor Odyssey podcast is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The contents and opinions shared, expressed, or otherwise alluded to on the Advisor Odyssey podcast and audio experience are solely ideas and not to be depicted as tax, legal, or investment advice. Results from the use of these concepts may not be representative of the experience of all financial professionals and are no guarantee of future success. Your results may vary. The Advisor Odyssey and its affiliated members are not to be held liable or responsible for any lawful recourse or punishment invoked upon the individual or accompanying business partners or team members. Federal law, state law, and/or insurance carrier requirements may prohibit or place limitations on any of the ideas and activities expressed. All advisors, planners, wholesalers, affiliated reps, and investment advisors should be aware of any limitations imposed by federal regulation, state regulation, insurance carriers, broker-dealers, and registered investment advisors as applicable. Investment advisors are strongly encouraged to obtain pre-approval from the broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, insurance company, or similar institution with which they may be affiliated.